Today we're going to talk about some of the key words that you can use to help you decide what operation to use in solving word problems. The first thing I want to tell you is that I have attached a copy of this file to your assignment, so you may print it out, or if you don't have a printer, you may pause the video as needed and copy this down into your notes. Okay, first thing, for addition, if you see add or all together or together, those all mean addition. And if you say you want to put this and this together, or both of these together, those are going to signal addition. If you say something needs to be combined, if you want to say how many in all or just in all, you could say something has to be increased by or plus. Sum is the word that means the answer to an addition problem, so that also means addition. Total and more, those are both going to signal addition. Now, if you see the word perimeter, it means you're going to add. You're going to add the sides of the shape, all the outside edges, whatever the shape is. Now let's look at subtraction. Subtraction, you could say that we want to change something by a certain amount or decrease it by or find the difference. When we say find the difference, that means subtraction. It could say fewer or fewer than, or how many are left or how many do we have left, or how many or how much more. Be careful because we saw more over here. But if we want to know how much more, that's subtraction. If we say we want to add more to it, that's addition. If we say how much longer, shorter, taller, heavier, anything like that. If it says less or less than, or someone has lost something, that means the amount is going to get smaller. Minus means subtraction. If it says we need to reduce an amount by a certain amount, then that's going to be subtraction. If we ask how much remains or how much is remaining, of course subtract means subtraction, and so does take away. Let's look at multiplication and division. If you see something that says by, we're talking about dimensions like a 2x4 table. And this X means by. So you could either see it written in words 2x4 or 2x4. That means it's 2 feet by 4 feet or something like that. If it tells you to double or triple or quadruple, you'll multiply by 2 or 3 or 4. If it says twice or 3 times, something like that, you'll multiply by 2 or 3 or something like that. By a factor of, you're multiplying by that amount. Multiplied by and times, those are pretty obvious. Product, that means the answer to a multiplication problem. Now let's look carefully at of, because some people get mixed up on this. Of is a great word to know because of means times, but we mean of a number, like 2/3 of 4 miles. We don't mean if it says 2/3 of a cup. If I have 2/3 of a cup, I could add, subtract, multiply, or divide that. Now, so what we're talking about is like if they said 2/3 of the distance and then told you the distance is 4 miles, then that's 2/3 of a number. It's not just 2/3 of a unit, okay? Let's look at percent. If it says what percent of something, and we're talking about that something is a whole number, like what percent of the pizza did you eat? Or what percent of the weight have you used? You're talking about the number of pieces in that pizza or the weight being the whole number. You're going to multiply percent times that. All right, area. It depends on what your shape is, but you're always going to be multiplying something like base times height or length times width, or you may have a formula like for the triangle, but it's still going to be a times problem. Now, let's be careful of per and each, because sometimes that's going to be multiplication and sometimes it's going to be division. If you're going to use multiplication if the problem already gives you the number of groups and the number in each group, and you're trying to find the total. Now, it doesn't even matter if you figure out how many are in each group, which one means the number of groups and which one means how many in each group, as long as you can tell that you already have these two amounts and you're trying to find the total, put it all together. that would be multiplication. In division, it works differently. If they give you the total and you have to find one of those other two things, either the number of groups or the number in each group, then that means you're going to be dividing. Now, a lot of the words for division make sense. Divided into, separated into, shared equally, divide, split, cut into, quotient, ratio of. All of those and are going to signal division. Like a ratio of is something that means a part of a whole. Like if you think about a fraction, 3/4 is a ratio, 3 to 4. It's also a 3 parts of a whole. So those are going to talk about division.